Sean's a little better at that than I am. I'll give him credit. You know, he's okay. He's okay. I'll get him next time.
He's pretty good. You got to give him some credit there.
Yeah, no, that's just what he does best. What about that warm embrace? That warm embrace.
Schultzen was ready, man.
Yeah, he just
I think
dived into his
he might have like clawed paiN's back.
Could have.
Like
injury. We have to check
maybe
for
he was
that.
looking for like we need an instant replay on that one.
That's right. We need to double check. Okay, here we go. So Xing 10 says bye-bye already for NME. They do not want to deal with him. Totally understandable. It's been a force in this competition.
Honestly, kind of surprising to me because that's been one of their best picks. NME has been using that Xing 10 to such great effect. You know, they used it honestly against us at the Super Regionals in the first game. It totally caught us off guard and was one of the huge reasons why they won that first game.
All I hear is excuses.
So it's such a strong pick overall, and they play it extraordinarily well.
I'm really surprised that it's you know, because they are first pick as well. So the Xing Chen, if anyone's going to get it, it's going to be them. And the fact that they've opted to ban it out means that maybe there's a counter going around in scrims that they're not ready for, or maybe they're just, you know, they're not interested.
They might just be looking for Bologna. Like the option here too, we know Vedium loves Soul. He played it a lot at Super Regionals. I don't think it was the best thing we've seen from him, but it's something that, you know, puts out a lot of pressure in lane and maybe NME wants to look for. And I like this Khepri ban away from paiN.
I like the Zhang Kui ban, by the way, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, that Zhang Kui ban's interesting. It was played by NME, though. We saw the Zhang Kui come out to great effect. So it's one of those gods that people always say, oh, you just buy Shell to counter him. But like, if you're buying an entire active to counter a god, I mean, you do that against Poseidon. You buy an Aegis to counter his ultimate. You know, same kind of thing. Doesn't make Poseidon bad. So something they definitely don't want to deal with, all of that area damage. And there's the first pick, Bologna. No,
there's going to be a tier. Like paiN Gaming, Stalker is getting his tier. The matchup in lane isn't the worst, considering you can knock or stop the bludgeon with the Fearless, which is very important. You know, take away her main clear move. But no, paiN right away. They're not going to be playing passive in the dual lane at least. Soul going away.
So Soul picked up by paiN Gaming, which is an interesting pick because she did not win a game yesterday. I believe she was picked in 3 and lost every single one. So obviously she's starting to seep through pick and bans as people realize maybe she's not as good, or maybe, you know, NME are just ready for this. But I'm excited to see what Arcanjo or maybe Schultzen can do on the Soul.
I really enjoyed those first 2 picks coming out of paiN. Soul, incredibly strong. It's going to give you the push in the lane. And Athena, not only is that a great pick for you, but you're also taking it away from paiN of Yande, who is arguably the best Athena in the entire world. And he plays so aggressive with that Athena. It's one of the only gods that they will play aggressively early with it. And we see Agni possibly coming out as well for Chaos.
Where's Kiwi?
That's his god.
He's so excited.
He's in the crowd cheering right now.
he's the guy I heard squeal just a little while
But here's
ago.
the problem. paiN Gaming don't have Agni. It's NME.
That's
so
true.
He can't cheer for Agni. He's got to cheer for paiN Gaming.
That's true. That's true. You know, I don't know if he secretly. I don't think he wants to cheer for.
He probably wants them to lose. He's like, I can't believe you lost to this team. It's like, I'm the best hunter.
Oh, look at them.
Locked in.
We were talking about the strength of both of these teams in their picks and ban phase, and right now paiN Gaming really showing how strong the pick and ban phase is.
Do you notice how unbelievably confident they are?
They are.
Can you just I mean, you know, I know we're supposed to break down the picks and bans, but like, look at this. Just so confident.
They're just so happy as well. You know, they're genuinely having a great time on stage.
Absolutely insane. One or the other. It's like you're either blindly happy or just this is it. This is the edge of insanity.
Schultz in their mid might be a little bit.
Maybe.
He's the one who jumped into paiN's on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Sobek and Humbats is going to get banned out as well. So
I think the Sobek ban is to, you know, that's for Salt Machine, so it doesn't have to do the Bologna Sobek, the infamous counter matchup. So that's a pretty smart ban coming out there.
What do you guys think of the Neath and Agni picks on NME side?
I think it might have been a little bit early for the Neath pick, because if you want to pick the Neath early, you usually try to make it a pick where, oh, it could go mid, it could go in the ADC, and they immediately picked up the Agni. So we know it's not going to the mid roll because we're going to have the Agni there.
Yeah.
And we also love the Hunbats ban coming out. Hunbats has been one of the most popular junglers right now that we've been seeing, and one of the most effective, so might as well take that away from NME.
Yeah, it just didn't make much sense, right? They picked up Soul, so you clearly know, like, okay, right, you can take your time with that, right, in my opinion. But makes sense, though. Makes sense.
On the topic of Agni and Neath, though, they are, that's going to be a, that's not real, right?
It in.
They're not locking that in.
I
dare you, NME, to lock that in. I dare you.
Ataraxia hates Anubis.
They're trolling. They also have an Agni.
Yeah.
They're trolling the crowd. You hear the crowd start booing, like, come on. Serket probably going to be picked up for it just there. We saw how good he was on it. And I do expect him to make pretty frequent trips to the Soul lane. You know, Bologna more than likely already going to have a positive matchup, whoever he faces. But that's kind of NME's game sometimes, is make Salt Machine get ahead and just dominate the 1v1.
This is such an enemy draft. You've got Salt Machine on Bologna, that really aggressive front line. Vicium on his very famous Neath had a big splash at Super Regionals. Chaos is probably the only player right now on the Agni. Saket for Adjust, and the defensive get for paiN Yandere. I love this from enemy.
All right, they locked in tier, and that's going to do it, folks. It is time for NME versus paiN Gaming. Casters, take it away.
Very much, Alex. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the commentary desk for the second time today. As we move into our second matchup, it's going to be NME and paiN Divan versus paiN Gaming. The paiN versus paiN matchup.
No desk.
The commentary area, welcome to that as well. My name is Bart, this is Brandon. And of course, joining us is Aurora for this best of 3 matchup. And well, boys, NME's draft looking pretty solid, playing to their strengths.
I mean, the Agni and Neath, it was the first thing in my head. They gave up Soul for a reason. I think Vedium was the person who started this Neath counter pick going into regionals in November, and I think they got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, and they also were able to pick up Bologna, which is big for Salt Machine. So I'm excited to see how NME plays this game.
Yeah, probably the most interesting part of the draft for us here was the Xingtian ban in the first position out of the first pick spot in lieu of the Bologna. Any thoughts there?
I think they did it purposefully. They grab Bologna first. If it gets through, they give up the Soul to counter it with the Neath, and then Chaos gets his famed Agni. I mean, it's his best god by a mile. I think this was perfect.
They've also banned out both a Sobek and a Xingtian, both of which are very, very resilient, very hard to kill, high damage output mages. So, you know, maybe leading a little something of how they want to take these team fights. But guys, let's go ahead and hop into the game. It's game number 1, NME versus paiN Gaming.
Well, we do have Stalker on tier. This is what we know he wants. I mean, this is one of his shining gods. He uses this god a lot. And honestly, he does well against Bologna. He always has. This has been maybe not a counter pick, but definitely a god you want against Bologna since, I think, her inception, even when she was way better than she is now.
Stalker has a ward, and NME grouped up, but they weren't able to find him there. So no kills for NME early on. It just looks like he's going to be able to get his ward off for free.
I thought we were going to see a run back on that Bologna Bluestone that China did. That was awesome.
Yeah.
She got a kill with it, too. It was great.
Soul Athena going into Neath Geb. Shouldn't expect a kill in this lane early on. Seems pretty defensive on the side of NME. A lot of ranged clear. paiN probably just looking to get that Soul farmed up, get into a couple items before they really look to move around the map.
Then again, they have Thor, and we saw what Thor can do against Neath. Do you see that wall in the last set?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was crazy.
Oh my God. Hugo Fred is a genius.
Red's good at video games, isn't he?
Yeah. He should try to make money at him. I think he could do it.
Well, guys, that's it. The game is getting started now. We're just a few seconds away from minions spawning and the jungle camps popping up. NME going to go for a, well, what has become the standard opening here through much trial and tribulation during the SMITE Pro League. And notice how they will leash this red buff all the way to the absolute extreme right side of that camp so that Chaos can get to lane. Take a look at Isis. This is actually one of the better starts that you're going to see. That one nearly step perfect. Schulten's still going to have the advantage in the push.
She has purple pot right here, so they're going to definitely look to be super aggressive at these first mid camps.
This is the CV play.
Yeah.
You know, CV and ranked, purple pot, I get the right camps. And if you don't give them to me, I'm going to kill you.
Yep,
right?
CV's famous for that in NA rank.
Oh, a two-man taunt coming out.
Nice.
Vicium going to take a bunch of damage out of the Soul. Looks like that passive is fully maxed out as well. paiN Divan, you can see that Geb Stone Shield removed in just a couple of hits there, but Archantia just off of the mark with the Stellar Burst.
Left side camps will go to the blue team. NME going back into the middle now. paiN Gaming has control of the lane, as you can see. Justin Chaos going to be a step behind as the Potion brothers are going to go into the jungle, trying to clear up as fast as possible, get Thor to level 5 as soon as possible so we can start ganking this Neath.
Yeah, I mean, the conventional wisdom here is that NME is going to be looking to dodge paiN Gaming for a good little bit of this early game and let those purple and red pots wear out.
Whoa.
Here, ooh, yeah, Stalker barely going to outrange the back half of that bludgeon that would have taken him very, very close to critical.
2 more levels he needs before he can start healing up cleanly.
Yeah, Tyr versus Bologna. Bologna wins almost every matchup early on. Until Tyr gets to about level 9, he's not going to really be able to stand up to Bologna in this lane at all.
That's a 7.
I think 9 for
Level
Bologna.
4 heal, I think, is generally enough to stop her from killing him.
paiN taking some damage here. Nice job there by Archanjo to, kind of maintain his positioning in the incorporeal form, but still looks like Vicium gets the better of that trade between the two.
Whoa.
And now moving forward is paiN Divan. Hey, a little cheeky there, but look at Thor. He's turning the corner here.
This could be good. This could be good. He's looking for it. He's got to be careful here. Vicium seems to notice that something's afoot. He's trying for it. He might have walked over a ward. There is a blue ward on the top side of the jungle.
Yeah, I think he did. But if they saw him, it doesn't really explain why paiN blinked forward for a 2-man knockup. Ticking down a bit as Schultzen looks like the first ultimate coming out of Adjust was not successful in finding a kill.
Level 5, though, I mean, he's a step ahead of the Thor right now. Thor needs to try to get into this level 5 and get the ganks going in a safer fashion. I mean, if he had just waited a little while longer, it's possible, but there's so much ward coverage. You know, Zapman was talking about how the 3-minute mark is such a great place to do it because there's no wards on the map anymore. They've already gone. By going in early, he kind of showed his hand.
Well, all things told here, it does look like paiN Gaming is going to have one of the more successful starts we're going to see from an international team versus a North American or European squad. Fairly close here in the gold, only about 90 separating the two. Dead even effectively their experience as well. We saw just in the last set, you know, the Chinese team OMGB going up just a hair over Paradigm in game number 1, but this looks like a sustainable start out of paiN, right? They're not going to be relying too heavily on a snowball to take this game down. Yeah,
this start's good by paiN, but you have to remember that they have 2 power pots on their team, on Isis and on Thor. Right. If they don't get anything off these power pots, enemy is going to have a huge lead just off of that.
To the same point, Adjust has one as well, so it's only really the 450 gold. But again, yes, paiN should be a little bit more aggressive. I thought we were going to see Thor and Isis stick together until Thor was 5, maybe try to pressure Adjust. I mean, early game Serket, of course, has escapes, but is still very susceptible. She doesn't have a lot of damage.
She doesn't have a lot of HP, only about 850 HP here. And, well, you know, an Anvil of Dawn into a Mjolnir's Attunement is going to do about 700 of that out of the Thor. So.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what Agni's going to go into. He does have the first thing of Chronos Pendant. I wonder if he's going to choose that second or if he's going to choose to go into a Spear.
Stalker taking a lot of damage. Oh, and maybe some land nerves there as he whips a big power cleave on cooldown for only a few seconds. It looks like he is leveling it, so we'll get most of that health back from the blue buff.
Enemy's going to take this left side camp. Right side did go to paiN Gaming, so still an even startup here. But as you mentioned, paiN in the hole about 500 gold with a pot unless they can find a kill here in the first, well, they got about maybe 30 seconds left on those power pots.
Right side blue is going to get taken down at just a little bit late on the rotation. Should be okay, though, considering that the speed buff is coming up in a few seconds. I would like to see him start here as Salt Machine is still fighting. Remember, Stalker out of mana right now is a susceptible gank as well.
Well, Stalker does have that blue buff, though. It's going to start ticking him back up, and he should have enough sustain to throw out the odd power cleave here and there to heal himself up. The sustain still not going to be a major problem for Tier, unless Salt Machine elects to go into some kind of anti-heal. It should be a fairly stalemated lane.
I can't expect that we're going to see a
Can't imagine what it would be,
yeah.
So one thing I've been seeing this tournament out of Enemy, they've been splitting camps way better than usual. Back at Super Regionals, Adjust was soloing a lot of these camps out and not splitting experience with Cass.
Trouble.
But we look like
Trouble. Oh, nice jukes there by Stalker, putting on his juke shoes.
He's gone.
He's going to move both of the, or at least lose both of the Madness stacks.
Thor. Thor's up.
Thor ultimate coming down as well. Tier over the top. There's an ETH ultimate coming in. Bologna
Adjust
rally
is down.
here. The poison did spread. However, Nagare trying to move forward with Thor as well. One more set of CC should be enough to pick up a kill on the Salt Machine, but Bologna just too resilient in the early game. The CC chain just a little bit off the mark there. Not another taunt out of Athena available to find that kill, but still a return kill very, very quickly from paiN Gaming, and they get the first blood in game number 1.
Yeah, now 17-7 compared to 17-1. paiN Gaming very successful in that.
Is this enough? I'm sorry to cut you off there, but is this enough to compensate for the 2 power pots versus the 1? Is a single kill and getting first blood worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also took Adjust out too, so I think that's pretty big. Thor really needed to kill him there so he could get the farming time and try to catch up to him a little bit. He's actually 200 gold ahead of him now, even though they both got the kill, so I think that was really, really good that he got the kill.
That's the bounty, first blood bounty. He got it. Just barely, too, because that poison was ticking down quickly.
Oh, so paiN did get the first blood. Yeah,
paiN got
that's
first
huge.
blood, yeah. paiN picks the first blood there in that engagement. So not only do they get the bonus gold, they also get the extra experience because they were alive when the kill happened versus the other side where Serket did fall from Adjust. So Enemy, maybe their hands full a little bit here with paiN Gaming.
They invested a lot into a character that just doesn't care about things being invested into him. I mean, he's Tier, he heals, he does a lot of damage, he doesn't get CC'd. I mean, that's just what he does. And they went pretty big there, but they forgot about the globals. We saw Thor all the way from the speed buff coming in. We had the Athena ult on as well for the damage reduction. It was a good play by paiN Gaming.
So what real opportunity do they have here now, Aurora, does paiN Gaming? With this early game lead, what can they really do? I mean, is it just go back to the lanes, continue farming up, and hope that you build a bigger advantage? Or is there some specific plays, maybe the early Gold Fury, that you're expecting them to make?
Yeah, they can definitely go for early Gold Fury with the Isis ult. And I feel like if they get a pick, they could turn it into whatever they want that's available on the map.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Is that a warning shot? It's like, hey, I have this.
Just thought he was going that way. You never knows. The slippery Serket.
Salt Machine, both kind of low on the mana here. Salt Machine's teleports up in 10 seconds. Still about 30 here for Stalker, so it'll be a one-wave probably wait for each person.
Yeah, that's fine. Stalker just a little bit behind in the experience department, probably perfectly happy to enjoy an extra wave over Salt Machine.
Camps split, it looked like. Left to blue, right to red, as it seems to have gone this game so far.
Yeah, I think we've had a 50-50 mid-camp split full on across the board here so far through 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Guys, if you are just joining us, this is game number 1 of the second best of 3 here today at the SMITE World Championships. And as you can see demonstrated on the graphs, this one is dead even through the opening laning phase.
Somehow, NME worked all that gold back and yet lost experience in the meantime. How did that happen?
Yeah, I think it's because of the mid camps. That's what really brought them a lot of their gold.
Soloing, they must have must have been only a single person getting credit for one of the mid camps.
Possible, yeah.
To lend that experience disadvantage.
Stalker going into the jungle here, rotation over as well, so he should be safe going for the blue buff should he choose to go for it. Both teleports, or I'm sorry, no, one teleport is available. It looks like Salt Machine has already backed.
Thor's going up, hanging on in a lot of trouble here. That soul ultimate is perfect. The Neath is going to be there, and it's going to be enough to stop Madrigal. And yeah, I mean, realistically, Vicium saves a life there. In comes a Just. There is going, oh, there comes the ultimate coming out, but there's going to be damage reduction for the Thor. Not going to be enough to find the kill unless the Ognibomb gets it. Indeed, he will. The poison will spread onto the Athena as well, but they've isolated Sol, and Sol will be the target. No, the Ice Silver will heal up for now.
Wow, they got him!
Through Marcantro, but still Just finds that kill. It's a 1-for-2 trade for now. In comes Tyr. Stalker going to have a hard time following this up. Bees right away from a Just. Do you have it over the top of the Lawbringer? Looking for Circuit. Ambush pending very, very shortly. Going to be hard to find a kill, and indeed they will not. paiN unable to draw even 3-2 for NME.
Very smart for him to go into the jungle towards paiN. NME is going to get the better of that one, 2-1.
So the timing on Vicium's ult at the start of the fight to save Geb was crazy. It stopped Thor's 3, and that's why Geb was able to survive.
Yeah, Geb looked dead to rights there. I mean, it's not very often you see a character eat an entire soul ultimate and live to tell the tale, especially with a Thor there. In some trouble, Salt Machine, a brilliant block coming out from Thor, but now they have no way to slow down the Bellona. They did get her ultimate, and her beads are still, I'm sorry, her teleport is still down. They can maybe put a bit pressure on here and get Nagare and Stalker back ahead, getting some bonus experience in the lane.
It looks like Mad right there underestimated the movement speed of Bellona, was unable to catch up. In fact, actually wound up losing distance as they continue to chase. paiN's going to rotate over to cover the lane as it looks like Salt Machine's teleports down for still 50 seconds.
Well, guys, it looks like this one's going to come down to ganking and counter ganking. It appears to be the way this game is going. And you would think that paiN does have the better of that with the Thor. They should. But I mean, they've really been using Thor as an initiator, not as a counter initiator, because comparatively, it just has been significantly less active.
Well, I mean, he's 2-1-1. He's not so bad right now. paiN in a real good spot, though. Another beautiful Cataclysm. Jolson's going to get stunned out of the... Oh, he's trying for it. He's going to have all of his healing reduced. There's nowhere for him to go. In fact, he's going to spread this poison if he's not careful. He might get out. Final tick.
Jolson will
he's
survive.
Alive.
Just barely. On the backside, Athena as well. Just now going to get CC'd out by the Fearless Chain, and that turns into a kill in return for paiN, gaining a little bit of overextension into the enemy jungle by, well, NME.
This is big. Look at this. Vicium going at it as well. Arcanjo try to send some damage back. He doesn't have his movement speed available to him. He's trying to be careful. Probably looking for the Radiance right now to get a small amount of healing. Vicium keeping pressure forward, knowing that no one's coming to save him.
Going back to the fight in the right jungle, I feel like they backed off because they thought Agni Bombs were going to hit it and finish the kill off, but enemy just wasn't able to secure any of the kills, and that a great rotation by Stalker to pick up Circuit.
Yeah, that Aegis factored in pretty heavily there. And now, Stalker didn't even have to port in for that one, so now he does have the available Teleport 3. Look for maybe a deep rotation to a ward out of the tier.
That's going to be a Soul Eater picked up for Vdium. You can see he pushed the wave very aggressively, even at the cost of some HP. Went into the jungle, placed the ward down, backed, and finished up that very helpful, tanky lifesteal item. With that, we still see Soul sitting on a Talon Trinket. Now, this has two options. She could go for a heavy lifesteal and Aura to help out the Isis with Pythagorean's Peace, or could go for just a ton of base damage with Bancroft's Talon. I think either one's fine.
Or I mean, do we want to play new meta or misclick? I mean, that could have just been accidentally going for down the Polynomicon tree.
Ooh.
And picked up the Talon now. I mean, because that item is not something that seems like it's worth prioritizing in the early game on Sol, unless you want to really be a pure mage.
I really like it because, I mean, she needs a lot of base damage. Poly does decent damage, but you also need to have damage to back it up. It's 65% scaling, so putting something like 100 damage on Bancroft's, which is a super cheap item, super cost-effective, I think it's really a smart play.
Oh my goodness, paiN game.
Ice ult's ready.
Just before 12 minutes here, they've started up. The Gold Fury has been sniffed out by enemy.
Spread out, though.
Here. They have the Isis ultimate. This should be sufficient to pick it up, and indeed it is. paiN gets it. Cataclysm is going to hit multiple, as will the knockup. Vici getting credited for a kill. The Soul ultimate not enough to push back enemy. Enemy continuing in. It does look like they will stop the bleeding there. Two members do go down in exchange for the Gold Fury, which will make this effectively a wash in terms of gold and experience. You see the graphs dipping down and coming right back up.
Wow. Yeah, look at that graph right there. It's just a complete dive down after it goes straight up.
See, it looks like it's a really important swing, like, oh my god, look what just happened, but those are 2 500 gold markers, which are not something we normally see at this stage, but another 500 gold gained, and there goes the entire lead once again.
But experience still continues to go in favor of NME. In fact, they're going to take 2 towers off of this push. Really, really pushing their advantage there. Nice heads-up play by the captain, paiN Devon, to get his team in position to find 2 towers. That's 4,300 experience. The gold, it's the first real lead of the game at just under 1,500 gold in favor of NME. And now they are in the driver's seat here. What does paiN's response need to be?
I'm just so surprised because it looks to me like Tier had the teleport. Why didn't he take the chance to defend the Tier 2? At this time, that tower does way too much damage to pretty much everyone. They wouldn't have been able to take it. Athena could have ulted him as well to reduce damage, get another presence there. That was curious. They're going to trade out a 1,000 gold swing for those towers.
Yeah, and they elected, split push that that right side lane and take a Tier 1. I think they just got a little bit caught out of sorts there, thinking they could trade a Tier 1 for a Tier 1 and maybe 30%, 40% damage on the Tier 2. But, that Neath in the backline, Circuit, and Bologna, I mean, you got pretty decent damage into those towers with the 3 physicals.
With that Stalker a level down, Mad a level down, Schulten a level down. It might get worse here. A lot of presence coming through. There's no healing, and that's true damage. Decent amount of ults used, but it's going to be spread. Nagari is forced to retreat.
Yeah, the Circuit into the Isis, I mean, so often she's using that ultimate to heal herself back up during these gank attempts as she does, but that Circuit ultimate shutting down all healing.
Yeah, paiN's got to start watching out more for the Circuit ult. It keeps spreading almost every fight that we see it go out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's number 3, right?
Yeah.
And then that's usually something that we don't see a lot in North America and Europe. There's just such a stigma and fear behind Circuit that maybe they don't have in Brazil.
Bologna holding 2,200 gold in her pocket right now. Salt Machine. He's poised and ready. It's got to be the heavy hammer into Frostbound here?
I would say so. She's almost there.
Yeah. It's nearly complete. In fact, Salt Machine going to fall back. Looks like it will be indeed. That heavy hammer going to be coming out for your Lady Bologna. No, right into the full Stone of Gaia. Going into a tier as well. Soul.
The Soul and Isis. And plus, there is the Defender of Olympus damage. This is massive regen through mana and health. I think it's a good call.
Yeah, and it's also really good for farming. It makes it so he doesn't have to go back to base for mana if he doesn't have his blue buff. It also gives him a lot of health regen as well.
So
6-3.
Lane sustain going to be now effective for the Bologna. And I would expect her to be planted there until she teleports into a fight now at this point. Blue buff going to be coming back up shortly as well on the side of NME. paiN Gaming, they need to make a stand here. I mean, they did find the Gold Fury, but they lost a ton on the back of it. It was the right thought, but picked up 2 high-priority targets that NME and were able to turn into a push. Just going to try to make the
paiN's down?
one-on-one play, but here comes the rest of the squad.
Stuck.
Oh, no! Thor's going to block out Schultz in there.
Why?
And now the poison will spread yet again onto the Athena. A little bit more true damage going the way of NME, and yet another kill for Just.
Why spread it?
I don't know.
I mean, there was just no option. And how did Just get away with doing that?
There was 3 members there. Salt Machine pushed underneath the tower of the Fearless Chain, but Stone of Gaia, here's the rest of the squad.
You'll notice how quickly he did the power cleave. I don't know whether that's a lack of knowledge or whether he choked a little bit, but by waiting another half second before throwing the power cleave, he could have got another tower shot off. Given the fact that he has a Stone of Gaia on Salt Machine, that lack of damage is really effective. We got a double ult coming in. He's going to miss most of the damage. Salt Machine able to get out of this one. Taunt doing decent damage, but Chaos was tanking the tower. Salt Machine continues to hold the front line.
Wow, yeah, I mean, 2 big ultimates used there, and they didn't really find much damage on the Salt Machine. I mean, 50% of Bologna's HP pool is just not a problem, especially with Stone of Gaia.
She's going to sit there and laugh this off. I mean, she just doesn't care. They'll go right down for the blue buff. They'll split it, some extra experience and gold. Chaos is here to hold down the lane just in case. I mean, this is really good defensive play from NME.
Well, guys, we've just passed the 16-minute mark here. Gold Fury, she's back up in just under a minute. You're looking at 6,500 experience on the side of NME, 2,300 gold as well. And it's been a slow but sure, steady path for NME here. Taking this lead away from paiN Gaming. It was modest in the beginning, but now it's turned into a real lead. And one thing about the graphs that I did just notice, I mean, we were talking earlier about that big swing, and Brandon, you mentioned, look, those are 500 tick marks. Right around that 12.5-minute mark, you can see where that swing was and just how small that is now in the scheme of things with the lead that NME has built.
And with that, NME about 6 levels their senior right now. paiN Gaming starting to fall behind. I think this is the same thing that happened to them when they fought Epsilon. They had a fair lead in the early game. They started to work it. They got a pretty good objective clear, and then Epsilon started being Epsilon. Mad's in some trouble here. Salt Machine going deep, needs the Scourge or the Bludgeon. Gonna find it, but he's out of position. Decent damage. Trying for it. paiN's here to protect.
They'll silence on the 2. They'll put a Spear Fall out. That's going to be, shielded away by Geb. Geb's going to Cataclysm as well, just to stop any follow-up.
That is the third, like, absolutely perfect
Yeah.
multi-target Cataclysm to stop CC. paiN has been perfect this game with Geb.
And now with that engagement going on deep on the right side of the map, NME is going to pick up a Gold Fury. That one uncontested by paiN Gaming. And this lead is continuing to expand. It looks like the North American #1 contender is here to play. I mean, there's been a lot of doubt around this enemy squad. Was it a fluke? But no, I think that we can say unequivocally now that this is one of the top teams in the world.
Look at this guy.
Got a good chance
Look at
to win
this guy. paiN Beyond again, perfect shields.
I mean, he's playing at an all-time high.
Yeah, paiN's playing like a crazy Geb right now. I think they were happy to give the Athena up and pick and ban because they knew they could just go to Geb and stop all the Athena taunts and just play to counter-engage again. But right now, like, they weren't really even counter-engaging this game. Their biggest fight was on the first Gold Fury that paiN tried to take when paiN blinked in to kill all the enemy members on paiN.
But it's about 5,000 gold now for NME. Things starting to look kind of bleak here for paiN Gaming, and I think that comes right back down to the picks and bans. I mean, NME got a dream roster. I mean, when I think of these players, Adjust, I'm thinking Cirquet, Salt Machine, I think Bologna or Xing Chen. I mean, Chaos is Agni, right? Of at least of North America. That still belongs to Lobster.
Lobster over in Europe, yeah, you're still giving to him.
Forever
Well,
and
take a
ever.
look. I mean, here's what I think is really worth pointing out is Salt Machine, this Stone of Gaia early on, you know, we were kind of saying, okay, you know, it's a lane sustained pick, but when you look at it, paiN Gaming's only real option to get back into this game is going to be on the back of Soul, who has gone for a immensely late game focused build with Book of Thoth and Bancroft's talent.
Wow.
Very much a mage, and basically Bologna will not care. Like, she
can't.
stacked enough HP and the Stone of Gaia on top of it. There's just no way that the Soul can be effective at healing Bologna.
She needs more penetration in this build before she can even really get a safe poly. Vicium's taking some decent damage here, but Chaos returns in spades. Nagare going to be forced to back even inside that shell.
Yeah, those Agni Bombs still doing a ton of damage. Spear of the Magus surely on the side of Chaos, factoring in pretty heavily there. There are 9 ultimates available. Only Isis via Schultzen does not have one, and enemy's siege of the tier 2 continues. But up will go Thor. Stalker off the mark, back down with Athena plus Thor. Not going to do very much damage to Chaos. In fact, not even enough to get rid of that Geb Stone.
That's a
Soul
kill.
Ultimate goes out. Doesn't matter. Adjust will fall again. And yes,
spread.
the poison does indeed spread. Archangel doesn't get anything out of his heal. And now on the backside, Salt Machine is unstoppable. No one can prevent him with the heavy hammer from going deep. And indeed he will. That will be a 4-man wipe outside of the right side.
that it?
Phoenix. Only Nagari is
that
alive. Enemy, just before 20 minutes, will find the first Phoenix. I don't think they can end here, Brandon. It's going to take them too long to take down the structure.
They do have a wave coming in. I think they're just going to retreat and go to Fire Giant, though. It might be a little too risky. It's too early. It's still only 20 minutes in.
A new world where paiN Beyond doesn't take the most risky play possible.
Well, they're starting to get a little bit more experience, get some notches on the belt there, are the boys of Enemy. I mean, they've picked up, several very, very big, high-profile wins against teams that, 6 weeks ago, I tell you, they have no business beating Fnatic, TSM, some of the higher, stronger contenders, Envy indeed, in the world, and Enemy. I mean, like I said earlier, there's been some big question marks for this squad, but I think there is no question that they are maybe the top contender to stop Cloud9 from taking another World Championship.
Oh, Athena does not have her ultimate here.
Bye-bye.
Stalker will fall. Another good combo. And the Fire Giant getting lower and lower. No one to defend it, and it looks like Enemy's poised to take this one down.
What's been interesting about this game for me as well is it does indicate to me maybe a little bit of a weakness for this Enemy roster. It does appear that they do play up a little bit more to those bigger matchups than they have here. I mean, like, it seems like they could have found a bigger advantage earlier on in this game had they really been firing on all cylinders. I think they are, a better team than paiN Gaming, and they seem to play a little bit better against Envy, Epsilon, and the like.
Well, I feel like Enemy plays the slower style, so maybe that's why it seems like that. I think they played pretty well this game. Adjust has been on point with his ults. We've seen him spread almost every single fight. Chaos has been playing a phenomenal Agni. He just had a crazy fight. And paiN Viande has been playing probably the best game we've seen out of this tournament out of him on Geb.
I would agree with that.
So I feel like just maybe it looks like that just because they have a slower style. And you can't count out paiN either. They've been playing great this game.
Pushing into the left side, 3 people deep. They shouldn't have much trouble taking this one down. There is some resistance here, but it looks like the tier 1's going to be let go. They'll fight for the tier 2. Stalker on the wrong side. No teleport. This will be a power play.
They can't even fight for the tier 2. They're going to have to give this one up, but just waiting in the wings to get in there on the backside. Yeah, it's just way too much. And I mean, you got to really like this composition from Enemy. I mean, we said this is a couple of, very, very typical gods for the squad, but just a combination of Cirquet plus Agni Bombs. Agni, Still really one of the only gods that has really, really great range damage and stuns. And it sets up brilliantly with the Circuit Poison. They've been in, and as you mentioned, they've been able to spread it in basically every application.
Stalker's trying to find a way in. He can't blink anymore. He has been tagged. Trying for some damage here. VDM does take a few hits, but the bird has fallen. Nagare to fall as well. Poison, does it spread? No, just outside the range. But the way it just puts it right into the back line, that actually would have been a kill if it hit too.
Yeah, Shelton will get into the pool before the damage comes through from Neat Spirit Arrow. Into the middle, Phoenix will go enemy 14-3, 22.5 minutes into this one. They're up 60K to 47K on the side of paiN Gaming. Enemy trying to take down the final Phoenix and completely break the base of paiN. And it looks like they will be successful in that venture. Stalker's going to try to go to the back line, and one last-ditch effort as it's here. Up will go Thor, down will come Thor. Chaos will aegis the majority of that damage, and Stalker will die to the bombs. Boom goes the dynamite.
paiN Beyond again!
Adjust somehow is going to be surviving this one due to his captain and support player. Down will go Schultzen, and the backside Salt Machine will solo down Arcanjo. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the end of game number 1. Enemy defeats paiN Gaming.
A damn good stand in the beginning, but paiN unable to hold, it seems, against paiN's perfect play from Geb. Enemy poised to find themselves in the semifinals, but they need another big win before they can get there.
paiN's perfect play pops paiN.
Headline tomorrow morning?
Headline tomorrow morning on on the post. Well, guys, yeah, you just saw that was game number 1. This is a best-of-3 contest. At least one more game coming your way. But with that, we'll toss it over to the Alienware Analyst Desk and Golden Boy and the boys. Take it away, guys.
Sounds like a boy band, you know? Golden Boy and the boys. You know, like that's what we...
Okay.